What's up, everybody? My name is Keir, and you are watching the important things that really matter. Today, we're going to go on with the continuation of showing you how to reduce your recording studio costs. As I stated before, your recording studio costs are extremely expensive. On the minimum side, you're going to spend $10,000, $40,000, $100,000. The range is that long, depending on what studio you go to, what time of the studio that you go to record, depending on what location you are at. If you're going to a reputable studio in the Metro Detroit areas, or if you're going to a reputable studio in Los Angeles or Nashville, it can cost you a bunch of money. Especially in Nashville, LA, and New York, it could be a minimum of $300 an hour. A minimum, which means you could pay more. You might pay up to $600 an hour for studio time. And you can get around that. There's a lot of things that you can do to get around that. And so we're going to talk about some more things that you can do to reduce your studio costs. As I was stating before, in the last video, a guy that I knew, and he had like two other band members. He spent like $100,000 just to put together one CD, and I'm assuming it was a CD that probably didn't have no more than maybe 10 or 12 tracks on it. $100,000 is a lot of money, a whole lot of money, and most of us do not have that. Well, one of the things that you can do to significantly reduce your recording studio time costs is to learn how to be a studio engineer. Did you hear that? Learn how to be a studio engineer. The money that you would have spent to record in a reputable recording studio, the thousands and thousands of dollars that you would spend, you could have went to a recording school that would teach you how to be a studio engineer. You could have learned that. You could have learned the equipment. It would probably take you a year and a half, or 2 years to get through their programs. You probably can get through most programs in probably about a year and a half. Now, what I did that. And I'm gonna tell you what I learned. I learned how to record and produce music on an analog console called the SSL. SSL meaning the solid state logic console. That solid state logic console is used on many high quality bands that were produced in the 70s or 80s or so. I had the opportunity to learn how to be able to record on the SSL. That's what you would call an analog console. Then I learned how to record on a digital console. And then, of course, I learned about what happens to the signal flow, where the signal goes in the system, what microphones would you use for each different particular instruments, what would be the best microphones to use for a vocal, what would be the best microphones that you would use to record your drums and stuff. So you're going to learn all those things if you go to a very good recording engineering school like I did. And it's going to take you probably a minimum of a year and a half, maybe up to 2 years. But the amount of money that you would spend, you would save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. You don't have to go to no studio in the middle of the night to record to keep your costs down. You won't have to do that because you can go do this all yourself. After you get through the program, after about a year and a half or 2 years, after you get through that program, especially if you go and take you plenty of classes on how to compose music, how to put chords together, what to do with your bass line, what to do with your guitars, how you record all this stuff. You will learn about EQs, you will learn about compression, you possibly may learn how to master. There's a lot of things that you will learn by learning how to be a recording studio engineer yourself, instead of having to go to a studio and have to depend on a recording studio engineer there. Your costs will be reduced significantly if you learn how to do this. Yes, it's going to take you a year and a half, 2 years out of your time, but you will save thousands of dollars. You might even save over $100,000. So anyway, once you get through the classes, then you can go buy the equipment. I don't suggest you take out a loan. Hopefully you went ahead and got a good paying job. Hopefully you went to school, such as got maybe a 4-year degree, or maybe you're in the skilled trades. So if you did that, that's half the battle right there, because all you have to do is go to your good paying job or your decent paying job, save you up some money so you can buy equipment. What equipment am I talking about? You're gonna want to get you a console. You either want to get a physical digital console. There are plenty of digital consoles now. Or if you don't want to get a physical digital console, what you can do is get a software program and load it to your computer. And then you may, in addition to the software program, you may look into plugins that you want to have that you can put on your software program. And there are a lot of different ones that are out there that you can get. The software project that I use is Studio One Professional. Once again, I used Studio One Professional. I have almost a complete album using Studio One Professional. I'm almost done with the project, and I'll probably be done maybe 6 months from now. But see, I can use it. It's a very good quality recording program. The money that you would have spent going to a reputable studio, you would have more than enough money to go to a studio engineering school to learn how to use the equipment yourself, to learn how to use the microphones yourself. You would have more than enough money to learn all the equipment from the school. You will have more than enough money to go buy you some microphones, buy you some keyboards, buy you all the different instruments that you may need. The amount of money that you would have spent by recording in a reputable recording studio, you would have more than enough money to pay for your schooling for 1.5 to 2 years. You would have more than enough money to be able to buy your microphones that you're gonna need, to buy any keyboards and any other instruments that you're gonna need. This is another way that you can save thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Plus, in addition to that, you will not have to go to a studio in the middle of the night. And the main reason of going to a studio in the middle of the night is to reduce your studio costs. See, if you go in the middle of the day, you might spend, if you're in LA, New York, or Nashville, you might spend, if you go in the middle of the day, you might spend a minimum of $300 an hour or more. I said minimum. So you could pay $400 an hour, $500 an hour, depending on where you go. So I'm letting you know this, I'm telling you this, and I'm letting you know this. If you do these things, it's gonna take about 1.5 years, 2 years to learn how to be a studio engineer if you go to a very good school. But when you get out, you won't have all them costs. You'll be able to knock out a CD, and 1.5 years later, you might be able to knock out another one. I know, because I've done it. I've done it plenty of times. I've released 5 CDs. Now, one of the things you got to take into consideration also too is that you will still have to possibly pay for artists. If you don't know how to put your music together, you're still going to have to pay for artists to come to your own studio, and you can set up a studio in the bedroom of your house. But if you have your own house, you can go in the basement, you can bring different band members over, and they can record into your recording equipment, into your laptop. Which is more, I've done it plenty of times, and you can do it too. So this is the things that you can do to reduce your recording studio time costs. So make it a point to go and look at these other videos. Look at the other videos that I have that's talking about artists. You are the business. And look at the other information which I'm providing that will not only reduce other costs, but let you know about the music business, let you know what to expect before you get into the music business. So to let you know whether you want to even get into the music business, or whether you want to deal with a studio or a record label, or whether you want to be independent. There are a lot of advantages in being independent. And so look at these videos and look at the Artist You Are a Business series. Peace.